So I wanted to show off these four cars that I have in front of me. This one right here is the DRZ version 1 from Atomic. The steering is kind of sloppy slash stiff because of the slide rack that it has. Even though you can turn it with your hand, it's better if you just let the servo do most of the things after you have it. One big thing I don't like about this car is the scrub radius that it has. Because of the knuckles, it has, like I said, a lot of scrub radius where the wheel does not turn right. I'll show a better example of this later. I have upgraded the front shocks with the DRZ version 2 shocks and also the shock tower just because the ones that it came with were kind of sloppy, and these have the little collar to adjust it. So here is the DRZ version 2, and this one the steering is a lot smoother, so you can actually turn it with your hands and not mess anything up. I have the monoshock upgrade, but one thing I really dislike about this is the fact that the monoshock always comes apart. Mine doesn't come apart when you lift the car all the time, but it will sometimes. Like right here, as I'm showing it to you, I think I drop it. I'm showing you the under tray so you can see that I can actually adjust the wheelbase on this one. Oh, you see? It fell right there. So it'll constantly come off and on, and it's one big annoying thing about the car. And besides that, I have added a high mount battery. I've printed my own servo mount because the one that came with my car was missing a screw hole. And I'm using the DRZ version 1 servo horn. So this one here is my DRZ version 1 with a SUPERSKEETER conversion. This one is my favorite chassis by far just because all the adjustments and the steering on it. It's got the least scrub radius because of the knuckles. Everything is aluminum and carbon fiber besides like the rear lower part of the transmission case and the tie rod end links. Here you can see that the servo is like a direct system, similar to a YD2 SX. And another thing I like is that it is adjustable. From a 90 millimeter mini Z to I am not too sure how wide, but basically any model kit you would like. The lower arms are also aluminum, and I have upgraded the outer clips, the rear top transmission, and also the spur gear cover. So here I could point out the spur gear cover, the clips, and then the top of the transmission. Here's my BMRX VIP, but I will no longer call it a VIP version just because of all the 3D printed parts I've put on it. This is one of my favorite cars, the one that I run the most, just because I've been able to get it pretty reliable. But I've also found a few parts that keep wearing out, and I'm also afraid of breaking the ring and pinion inside the diff. The diff is doing okay, but I think it's the gear that is inside. So I might get replacements, but so far it's been doing alright. I've printed out this high fan mount, so that I could cool my motor down. I don't plug it in until I need it so that I don't short my battery. I've also printed out the shorter top deck, the top high mount battery, this diff cover, and I believe that's right, the diff covers, and then the lower control arms, and these side braces. I've gotten rid of about 30, maybe 35 grams of weight from the brass parts. I want to maybe do the servo mounts, but I think this is pretty good so far. You think you fuck with me? Just things you gotta know. So I might as well show the progress that I have on my HGD1. I bought the extension plates from Super G, and the only things that I've changed is I made a plate and a steering wiper, and also this front bulkhead. So I still use the stock arms, but the bulkhead allows the arms to be extended further out. And all I need left is a servo placement. But so far it's been doing all right. So here's a look at how the scrub radius is on these cars. You can see the distance from this car and the new DRZ. It's quite a big difference. And this is the SUPERSKEETER, which has almost like the least amount of scrub radius, and my BMR and the HGD1. HGD1 has about as much as the DRZ. So here you can see that on the DRZ, as I try to turn the steering left and right, it's actually pretty difficult. That's because the slide rack is all plastic and you're pushing against a lot of plastic on plastic. You can see the distance between the wheel. So the wheel will do more of a curve slash C versus it actually turning in its position. And here you can see how much smoother the DRZ version 2 is with me just turning left and right because of its crank system on bearings. And here's the SUPERSKEETER. The SUPERSKEETER has a direct mount servo coming off of it to do the steering, similar to the newer YD2s. One of the reasons this is my favorite car is because you can adjust everything very, very simply and quick. Like here, I can show that I am adjusting the caster just by untightening one screw. And then you can see how here I'm about to adjust what they call Ackerman on a car, or also the toe, since it changes them simultaneously. So if I go down, it'll give me more toe in. If I go up, it'll give me toe out. Also change the Ackerman, as you can see here. I don't know where you can buy this kit anymore. I bought this secondhand, and my friend had bought it off of Super G a long while ago. Here's my BMRX VIP. Even though I don't call it a VIP, the steering up front, nothing has changed. I tried adjusting my steering to make it slower, and as you can see, it's not the greatest right now. It actually crab walks a bit. So what I'm gonna do now is actually undo the ball end on the knuckle and twist it back in the turn that I had undone. So I've now put it back to what the stock and manual would say. And the steering looks good. Like I said, I felt this car was too fast, so I tried slowing it down.